it's Leah here to tell you about Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. He's a pain specialist located in southern Palm Beach County. So if you are somebody that you know is suffering in pain, Dr. Pannozzo is the one you guys need to call. And make that call today because living in pain is no way to go through life. Dr. Pannozzo has been in practice now for more than 49 years. He's treated more than 73,000 patients for pain. He's an expert when it comes to diagnosing the pain, and he has had huge turnarounds. In fact, people living with scoliosis, he has had nearly a 100% turnaround. Lumbar pain as well. If you've got lower back pain, if you're suffering with migraines or flat feet pain, maybe pain in your elbows, your neck, your shoulders, Dr. Pannozzo can help you. And the greatest thing is he can help you without drugs, without surgery, and without having to go through weeks and months of rehabilitation. Give him a call today. Set up an appointment. It's 561-381-5800. Tune into his show Sundays, 11 to noon. And now, here's this week's edition of the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour.
Good morning. You know, Doc?
Morning. How are you?
I always forgot that I had to open the show. I'm sitting here saying there's no less. Where's the mic? Good morning, Dr. Pannozzo. Welcome to the Pannozzo Medical Hour. How are you doing, Doc?
I'm doing great. I got up today. What more can you ask for?
That's right. You can't ask for anything more than the fact that you are alive and living it, right? And today's show can be heard and seen on the Pannozzo.tv website. And you can also download his app on Pannozzo.tv. It's very important.
We have a new website, too. It's Anthony and Pannozzo, MD. That's the name of it.
When were you going to let me know, Doc?
Right now.
Oh, okay. And what is it called? Anthony?
Anthony and Pannozzo, MD.
That's a new website? Okay.
And it's a revamped website. We're going to drop the old one.
Or okay. So this is the new website where you can get.
We're branding my name. That's what they say.
Okay. That's this is the gentleman that had the old one and he made the new one for you.
That's
Oh, okay. I need to have that information, Doc. I know it's very vital.
You have it now. Did you write it down?
No, I'll write it down after the show because we got to do the show first.
Yeah. Okay.
Listen, Doc.
I see you can only do one thing at a time.
Well, on radio, TV, I'm actually doing three things.
Talking about one thing at a time, that is true.
Which is?
You can only do one thing at a time.
Really?
Yeah. Why? Because when you want to do two things, your brain will automatically switch around to this one and then this one, boom, 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 real fast. And you think you're doing two things at once, but you're not. It's still one thing at a time.
So everything that you do is one thing at a time, even though you think you're doing two things at one time.
That's right.
All right, we also have a special guest that's coming here into the studio today, so we're going to let him set up over there, underneath the table on your right-hand side. Max is in the house. Listen, Doc, I want to start today with sports.
Yes.
Because my New York Mets, after a horrible year in terms of injuries, do you know their whole entire starting pitching staff, except for one guy, is out?
You're kidding.
No, they brought up all the rookies. Cespedes, the shortstop, everybody. Neil Walker's out for the season. Duda with the cracked vertebra is back. So you have to explain all that to me. But I got a question for you. One of their pitchers, Mans, is having surgery on Tuesday for bone spurs in the elbow. Now, I need to know what in the world are bone spurs?
A bone spur is a repair process that the body does. You could have a bone spur anywhere, on the vertebrae, on the bone, any bone. And what happens when you pull on a muscle bone connector or ligament bone connector, the way it resolves itself is to lay down bone.
So what
eventually?
Happens? So what
you
do
see
they
it
operate?
as a bone spur. There's nothing to operate. That is baloney.
So what are they taking out?
Nothing. There's nothing to operate.
There's nothing, but he can't throw. He's in a lot of pain.
Well, he's in pain, but that doesn't mean you have to have a surgery, and it's not the bone spur. See, the bone spur is old stuff. New stuff is what you have to know about, and you just inject those things with a steroid. They come right out. You don't have to operate those.
Now, you don't know who Mats is. This is the reason I'm bringing you. You don't know the pitcher Mats for the Mets, right?
No,
you don't know who he is. You don't know anything about. You don't know anything about this team.
I know nothing about nothing.
Okay. He also has something in the shoulder. The same shoulder as the bone spur. And they're not touching that. in the surgery, but it doesn't heal. So my question to you, could it be that the bone spur is creating that pain, or is it the other way around in the shoulder?
It's the other way around, but the shoulder pain, because it doesn't resolve, could be coming from the neck. See, you need a diagnosis on all this. This is not simple stuff. You have to know the anatomy and the physiology. You have to know how this stuff works.
Right.
The neck works, the shoulder works, the elbow works, the hand works, all together. And you have to be able to separate them out. And that's what I do. I'm a diagnostician. Right, Manx?
That's right, a master diagnostician.
Yeah,
master. Is that a term?
He's a grand
He
master.
made it up. Manx made it up. Manx does the filming for our reality show.
Which we're going to talk about in a second.
Yeah.
But I want to finish with my Mets first.
So you've got to be able to separate all those things out by examination, physical examination, not MRIs. MRIs are useless on these things. Physical examination will locate it for you, and then you can treat it. But you have to know how this stuff works. Now, for instance, we had a fellow that comes in all the time with elbow pain and wrist pain, forearm pain, a golfer. And he's a real golfer. I mean, he's an older fellow, and that's what he does. So I said, well, let me see your golf swing. So we have a shortened club like this, about this long, so you don't knock the walls down. Anyway, you could actually see how he golfed, and we corrected his golf swing right there. He was turning his wrist. That's why he was irritating everything.
But he turned his wrist because of the pain, or after you fixed it?
He was getting the pain because he was turning the wrist.
I got you.
So we finally got to it, and so we changed his swing, and so that's what we do also. We change the swing, good or bad. I think it's good, maybe.
Oh, yeah.
Well, the funny thing here is that a lot of ball players, a lot of people that are involved in sports change their habit of doing things because of pain.
Yeah, our philosophy is you don't change anything. You go back to normal. Fix it and go back to normal.
Now, people like Neil Walker, second baseman for the Mets, he's out for the season, herniated disc operation. Cepedes, they wanted to operate his, I think it's something in his thigh. I don't know what's going on.
The surgeon's got to lay off. They're operating too much.
But all these guys you could have helped.
Yeah, well, those things should not be operated. The herniated disc, that's baloney. What is it? It's a ligament there. What they operate in, I have no idea. And I'm in the business for 50-some years, and I still don't know what they do in there.
But they still go in there.
And they still go in there. Yeah.
Unbelievable. Well, listen, congratulations to the New York Mets. They're my team. We get to play Wednesday, one more game, and it's...
Well, maybe we ought to be going up to where they are and walk around with a placard.
But, Team Tebow is playing here in Port St. Lucie in the Instructional League. He's doing very well.
Oh, nice, yeah.
I'm not a big Tim Tebow fan.
Well.
I think he's a little bit old to be playing baseball as a rookie. He's 28 or whatever he is. But anyway, you can't stop people from making a living. He gets $100,000 for saying, hello, I'm here. So, it's all good. But you know what, Doug? We're going to be talking, let's talk to Max a little bit about your Channel 19 show that's opening up on Wednesday and Friday.
I did a nice promo for it. Did you like it?
Yes, I did.
Now, you were there for the taping of this stuff because I saw what you sent over. We changed a few things like the intro and the extensions and stuff like that. We cleaned it up a little bit, but everything's in. They're very happy with it. Extremely happy.
Are they?
Yes.
No kidding.
Wow,
Because there's nothing on television like you.
that's for sure.
And you've seen it all. You've been there 24/7.
Yep.
So I want to get your feelings of what you're getting back. I know you're a patient.
Yeah.
But I want to know when you see some of the things that you see, does it amaze you?
Blows my mind. I think it was Thursday. The kid came in from. He had a dislocated shoulder, and he got letters from 5 Division I scholarships.
Really?
So he's a real player. Football player.
Football, okay.
Running back, and he did defense too, I think he said. And he came in with his shoulder dislocated, first of all. So just to be sitting there, with your shoulder dislocated and as calm as can be, I thought it was kind of different, But I know the pain is when you put it back in place. And anyway, Dr. P looks at him, and I'm trying to figure out what he's going to do.
But wait a minute, he came into the Dr. P with a dislocated shoulder, or did they pop it in play?
It was dislocated.
It was dislocated.
Yeah, you could see it
No,
a little bit.
That's what they told him.
Because a dislocation hurts like the
Yeah,
chicken.
that's what they told him.
Did they pop it back in place?
You could see a little bit. You can see a little bit on the
I
film.
don't think he ever had a dislocated
It's out of
shoulder.
place. You could see that it's out of place because he's like, like this. But maybe it's not, wasn't totally out. Maybe they put it back in. I don't know.
Yeah.
But I do know it hurts a lot more going back in, right? Putting it back in place than.
Well, I don't. He didn't really have a dislocated shoulder. He had a scarred down part of it,
So he had an
part of the shoulder
injury?
joint,
Old injury?
which made no. You know when you get that happening, you get lack of motion there, and the other side moves more. So that looks like it's dislocated.
He's a
See.
pitcher?
No, he's the running back and a defensive player on a football team, Division I football.
But anyway, I shined on that one, didn't I?
Oh yeah, I mean, because you could see it go right back into place. Whatever. I mean.
So you removed the inflammation in the area?
And you could
Yeah,
see
we
the
just
movement.
we treated the scarred down segment, and then he had full range of motion.
Yeah, it
And
was
he
like
was amazed?
magic.
Was he amazed?
He was amazing. His mother was like, Dr. P didn't think I captured her look, but I think I did.
She was
Inside,
shocked.
yeah, one in the front, one in the back.
Well, this is common though. We treat everybody like that.
To you, it's common.
I mean, in my office
Yes.
anyway, we treat everybody like that, and they get the range of motion normal
Yeah.
before they leave.
Yeah.
But the amazing thing is that when people go in there, because I've talked to people in the waiting room who have never, I look on the list, never been here, and this says, yes or no, and they've never been there. And I go over to them and says, you've never been here? And I ask, is it you? Is it you? Is it, oh, it's you? What made you come? Well, I saw this, or someone told me, or yada, yada, yada. And then when you see them come out, it's like a whole different human being.
These people were actually referred there by the system, right? The high school insurance thing, whatever.
Oh, wait a minute.
I wanted you to know
We
that.
have to ring some alarms here. We got actually an insurance company referring Dr. Pannozzo?
Yeah, I was surprised about that.
Wow,
You
Doc,
didn't-
you see, you don't tell me
I don't
these
even
things.
know
He
that.
didn't even
He
know
doesn't
that.
even know
I
it.
have it on film.
All right, we
so
need to
watch
talk.
the film.
I think we're going to interview you. We're going to interview you. That's big news.
That's what I heard and I saw on a video. So
So the high schooler that he fixed is now recommending patients to him.
I believe so. Yeah.
Is it the same school,
yeah.
or is it other schools?
This was a private school, I think he said.
This is a different school.
Semi-private. He said.
Say, Doc, maybe your tentacles reach a little
In
further. than you
Delray.
think.
It was in Delray.
This we have to find out.
Could have been American Heritage, maybe.
Might have been that one. That was a busy day, so I can't remember.
You guys seem to need some help.
Well,
We're so involved with the science
can
of this,
see
we're
that.
not involved with the billing of it, or how that referral
But it's
works.
important that we get your message out, because if it's an insurance company that's recommending you, Doc, then we're on our way, because the next thing we're going to talk about is rehab.
Look what the insurance company saved by
Absolutely.
one day.
Absolutely.
Referring that person one day.
you
to
saved his
that office.
scholarship.
We saved the
You
scholarship
changed
for
his
the
life, but
for
the
the kid.
company-
We saved the scholarship.
Yeah. In the school, you saved
For
money.
the insurance, we saved him thousands of dollars because they didn't do physical therapy, they didn't do manipulation, they didn't do surgery. They had one day of treatment, which was negligible in the scheme of things. So that's what the insurance company got out of it. What did the player got out? He got his future.
Got to street your
secure.
back.
So what I usually tell these kids is don't if you're getting on a scholarship, don't complain if you get hurt to the establishment, the coach and the trainers. Come in here, we'll fix you up. Nobody has to know. We'll save your scholarship for you, and you go back to
That's
play.
an amazing
And
thing.
we do that. In fact, I have a picture of a player on the wall of a couple of years ago now. He went to the university right around the corner, FAU, I think.
You said that before, and
on
I said
Glades.
FAU, and you said it's the other place.
On
FSU, you said Florida
I don't
State
know.
University or
I
something.
don't know.
Florida International.
But it's
FIU.
on Glades Road, and a big
FIU.
campus there, and that's where he got a full scholarship there, and he kept it for the 4 years.
Doc, then let's revisit the subject that we visited this 2 weeks ago. If you have a company, I mean, high school sports is one thing, but if you have a company and you have employees and you are paying for the medical portion of their employees to have coverage, and you're not calling Dr. Pannozzo in to save you money, then you're doing something wrong as a businessman. And I'm just letting you know the truth. It is what it is.
You are absolutely right.
Because you could save a company a bundle.
Why can we say that? I had a business in my hand. I had 500 employees.
You used to do this in Ohio.
I had 500 employees at one time. And I examined every one of them before they got hired. No injuries for 3 years.
That's right.
No injuries.
So what happens?
3 years.
What happens
and I
to your
got money
premiums?
back from the state.
What happens to your premiums as a company?
They go down.
They have to go down, right?
They have to go
They
down.
should. So again, 1-800-889-0267 is the number. Here, you have a company. We want to hear from you. I want to hear the reason you don't want to save money by using Dr. Pannozzo. It makes no sense.
Well, there are certain females in charge of these programs, and they always refer you to their friends who are orthopedic surgeons. I have yet to have one of them call up and say, how can you save us money? How can you treat this person that has this and this and this? They don't do that. They just refer to their orthopedic friends.
Well, we're going to take care of that.
And you guys who are working, you got to stop that stuff. You know, you're not getting. Why are you the butt of corruption like that? You're the butt of corruption.
They don't know any better, but we're going to take care of that.
They do know better. They just don't do anything.
We're going to take care of that on the air. We're going to talk about if you have people working for you and they have problems, they have pains, and they've been to doctors more than once, maybe twice or 3 times.
Now, people have to understand that we don't treat people a lot. It's 1 or 2 days, and that's it.
That's right. We don't want them back.
So we don't want them back. We tell them if they want to come back, I said, don't come back. But so we want to look for new people all the time. That's why we're talking like this.
That's right.
We're not looking to treat people forever.
No.
Treat 12 visits with a PT and then get operated, get this and that. We don't do any of that.
No, we want to get you healthy. We want to get you moving on. So we need new bodies every day. But if you have a company and you're going to the doctor more than once, more than twice, then maybe you should get an opinion. Come and see Dr. Pannozzo and see what happens.
There are a couple of people we have to save. One is the patient himself. We have to save his income. He's got a family to support. You know, he's got to buy a car. He's got, all kinds of things that the guys do. Plus, we save the family, so they have money, and then we save the insurance company. The company buys insurance for this, and we save all of those just by having fast, accurate results. Right, Banks?
Right.
And we record everything if you allow us. You don't have to allow us to do it. We ask you. We record all this, and you can say yes or no to the recording. But it's very fast, and people aren't looking at you. They're looking at the results we get.
That's right. The healing begins, and Dr. Pannozzo's, it's called the Pannozzo Medical Hour, I believe it's. What did you call it, man? He doesn't even remember. But it's airing on Channel 19 on Wednesday and Friday, and it's 2 new shows a week. We're not rerunning anything, Doc. So Max is giving us a month supply of shows.
As long as there's supply.
As long as there's supply, we're going to do 2 shows a week.
That's what we're looking at. What's the supply?
It's Channel 19, which is the Beach Channel, and that's on AT&T Uverse, and it plays from the Keys up to, I don't even know how far it goes. It goes way up from what Les tells me. And it's an interesting concept because what you do, people don't do, and it's just getting bigger. And I want to talk a little bit about the new segment that we're going to be attacking and talking about. Then we'll take some questions that we'll write into. But the rehab business in America, what's going on with drug rehab? Is it opiates? Is that what it's called? Opiates?
That's what they're taking.
The federal government is getting involved because it is so out of hand. Heroin addiction, Delray Beach, so out of hand. Cops are walking around with those pens or whatever it is when you overdose. They've given them to the police officers because they are running into so many overdoses.
Oh, the EpiPens, yeah.
Whatever it is.
Yeah,
the physicians have to stop doing that. There is no reason to prescribe an opiate for pain. Aspirin's your best drug. You could take as much as you need of it. You don't need opiates. Opiates only work on the brain anyway. They don't work on the inflammation that's a source of a pain. So they got to stop doing that. The doctors, I'm talking about the doctors, got to stop doing that.
Well, a lot of people that have pains
do not prescribe those.
Are just taking pain pills galore. Now, we have one that I'm familiar with. You changed his life. You got him off of that stuff. But these centers now are coming forward because when you go to a rehab center, you can't be in pain to get healed because they're going to have to work on removing it if whether it's psychological or not, if it's physical, Dr. Pannozzo should be there, take care of the pain, because you don't use drugs, do you, Doc?
We have not prescribed any kind of narcotic or anything other than aspirin for 35 years.
That's right. So that is the perfect formula for somebody going through rehab.
Or longer than that. I can remember one time we prescribed something questionable, and there was a line out the door trying to come in for prescriptions. I said, you know what? That's the end of that. We're not doing that anymore.
Yeah.
And we didn't.
Yeah.
And we found out how to take care of a pain because we had to. Because there's no way to fluff somebody off like that with a prescription. You can't do it. We don't do it.
And people have come to your office seeking prescriptions or on prescriptions. Can you tell when they're in there
Oh, yeah, absolutely.
popping pills and what have you?
Absolutely. And we come right out and tell them we don't prescribe anything. Okay, thank you, and they hang up.
Which is fine. We're not looking. We're not looking
for
to
that kind of
pass on
person.
pills.
Those kind of people ought to get a life because their life is not in drugs.
It's not.
It's not.
But you know what? That's why the rehab centers exist. And again, 1-800-889-0267 is the number here. And we're looking for centers to let Dr.
Yeah,
Pannozzo
the
come
better
in.
results they get, the
Helps the center.
busier they get.
Of course.
You
Can you
know, they-
imagine? 100% turnaround rate, which is almost impossible. But you can turn lives simply because people aren't in pain. What about the vets that come back in pain?
Same thing.
Right? I mean, they dope them up with
VA
pills.
hospital is giving them narcotics, and that's not right.
And that's not the way to heal this stuff.
But that all kind of fits to the way they treat, though, which they just treat symptoms. They're not treating the cause and effect like Dr. P is.
That's right.
So that's why they're going to have to change their way of treating so they don't keep just
Oh, you
prescribing.
mean relearning?
Yes.
Well,
You mean
don't hold your
you
breath.
mean New World Order? New World Order?
Yeah.
Is that what he's talking about? New World Order, Doc. I'm going to have shirts made with your name on it. New World Order. Because if you think about it, that's what's going on right now. You know, our society is turning into a using pills society. And it's out of control. And, you know, one of the things, we've been doing this for 3 years, telling people get your life back. Don't let insurance companies ruin your life and everything else.
Right.
But the ultimate goal here is don't let yourself ruin your life.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, heroin addiction in Delray is the highest in the country. What
I
is
didn't know that.
I
But
can't.
It's crazy.
I know
I
it's
can
a Batman heroin that if they take it, they overdose on it.
It's
so
craziness.
strong.
Oh, that's
I
right.
can't understand anybody who wants to take drugs. I just don't get it.
Wow.
I mean,
Unfortunately, Doc.
I'm not in that business to know.
That's
I'm business, the science business,
That's
but that's what these rehab people are supposed to know.
You're-
Why you're taking those things, why you continue taking them, and how can we give you a life? How can we raise your ego so you don't have to take those things?
That's right. And removing the pain helps the rehab centers do their work.
Well, you have to be able to say that pain's gone and mean it. And I
you
could
can
do
do
that.
that.
I could do that.
You know,
Now, a lot
funny-
of times the other doctors are not going to be able to say, "Well, I think the pain's gone."
They
You
should be
got to
on.
know what the pain's
That's
gone
right.
in order for the rehab people to do a great job. They need something behind them to act properly. I'm talking about the counselors.
Right.
So we could do that.
Well, you're giving them actually ammunition to work with.
Oh,
That really works.
you got it right.
I seen a lady limp into your office, and then she
Yeah.
was walking straight,
Yeah.
and she says, "Doc, I don't feel nothing. I don't think it helped me. I feel the same." And she's as straight as an arrow, and I'm looking at her, and I say, "Man, when you came in here, you were picking quarters off the floor. All of a sudden, now you look 6 inches taller. What do you mean?" She says, "Do I?"
she didn't realize
She
it.
didn't realize
That's
it.
true. That happens a lot.
And I'm like, I mean, when you took care of me, I instantly knew. I says, I can stand up straight. I don't have that kind of problem. You know,
Good.
it's just craziness, as they say. 1-800-889-0267. We have Dr. Pannozzo here with Manx. Give us a call if you got any questions, any pains you want to talk about. And there isn't a pain you can't handle. Has he ever run into something you can't handle?
No, year by year we got to understand everything about any source of pain. And, it's all an engineering problem, a physics problem,
That's
a
right.
weight-bearing issue. You could describe it like that. Inability to stretch, you can describe it like that. And which I did, and I had to do that in order to understand it. And now we understand everything, and we can take care of anything.
You know, people still don't understand it, though. They say, how can a guy take away my pain in my foot when it's in my hip. I mean, that doesn't even make any sense.
It's the physiology of weight bearing. See, you have to understand this stuff.
I got a migraine in my head, and he's in my neck, and all of a sudden it goes away. How does that make sense?
Yeah.
Why does that make sense? I mean, think about it. You're having a cup of coffee, you're sitting there with a migraine. I got to go see the doctor to fix my neck.
Talking about migraine, you know, we developed all this.
Yeah.
There's no one in the world that does this migraine
Nobody.
treatment or ringing, that like we do it, as we did the research on it. See, what was I? I lost my thought.
Ringing.
I lost my thought there.
Research.
We're learning more and more about these things, and some of this cause of the ringing and migraine are really severe. They're very involved, so it takes more than one approach. But you got to keep at it. It's completely safe. It's nice. It does the job. Eventually, it cures it. And that automobile guy, we haven't seen him for a while.
No, and he was.
And he was in there every day.
He went face first, 55 miles an hour from a motocross bike, and then went face first, barefoot water skiing.
I think this guy should stay home.
I know.
Let's start there.
But he definitely had neck problems.
You think?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the other thing we're understanding, that everybody with a migraine has a neck problem, and ringing has a neck problem from the past. And if you just ask the right questions, you will get the right
Well,
answer.
Doc, I read somewhere this week that doctors are now saying that migraines might not be in the head; it may be in the neck. I was
Who's
reading
saying that besides
some
me?
kind of medical journal I was reading. I
Really?
don't read too many of them because, it's, you read some of this stuff, and I do a lot of other shows and stuff that has doctors on it, and they're entitled to their opinion of what they think works, which is fine. But I read this actually that we're talking about not the concussion yet. Concussion still is in the brain, they say.
No.
They're looking in the wrong place. I know that.
No.
But the migraines now, they're looking now at the neck area. I wonder why.
Yeah. I mean,
It's got to be you. All right, Alex from New York City writes, I saw your show on Manhattan Cable, good friends, and wanted to know if my operated hip, now this hip has been operated already, can be cured with your procedure. I guess the hip didn't take. It was replaced and the pain is worse than when I went in for the operation. My doctors say that it is normal for the pain to be there and it is curing itself. I guess pain means pleasure. That's a book, isn't it? And that it will be okay in the future, Doc. I wanted to ask you if you thought this was a true statement and if you can replace the pain, because I don't need it anymore, and why aren't doctors using what you do more?
Because the surgeon does not do musculoskeletal medicine. This is what we do. We will chase that scar tissue that she has and fix it. It's 1 or 2 days is all it takes.
And the answer to the question then is yes. You can take that pain out for him.
We can take the pain out. The hip is okay.
Now let me ask you a question. Now, when you have surgery, is pain in the region a normal? I mean, you had
No.
surgery, right?
yeah.
It
Was
is
it
not.
painful?
It was painful when I woke up because they didn't have my arm in the right spot in a sling. I mean, with my shoulder surgery, they had my arm like up here when I woke up in recovery. And
But you're not supposed to have pain after surgery. It's supposed to decrease rapidly,
The pain.
the pain.
But from all these questions I read, it looks
They're
like the pain
increasing, and
is
that's not
increasing.
right. So,
what's
the
going on?
surgeons don't do this kind of work. Whatever they do it great, but they don't do this kind of work. See, that's the problem.
They
It's
don't
too much of
follow up.
this.
So healing the pain isn't part of the surgical process.
No,
It's repairing the damage.
it's just scar tissue.
Okay, they should put that in the contract when you write. Okay. Jackie from New York City. I'm just saying, Doc, if I had to have surgery, I
should.
would think twice.
Yeah, they
'Cause
should.
what do I need more pain for?
Well, people should understand what's involved with when they go to the surgeon. They have to know what's involved with that. They have to read. They have to call up. They have to read stuff, and they have to cogitate. Think about it.
I'm totally confused. Okay. Jackie from New York City writes, I have gone to the doctor for carpal tunnel syndrome and have been to chiropractors, and no one seems to be able to help me. I've taken pills and needles, and still the pain makes it so I cannot type or use my hands. Now, Jackie is a secretary in Manhattan. Got to use your hands, don't you, Doc?
Usually,
Can you help me? Can you procedure help me?
sure.
Now, can you explain carpal tunnel in layman's terms? Don't get too complicated.
Well, we don't know if she has a proper diagnosis or not. She mentioned a chiropractor.
That's what they told
They
me.
don't make these diagnoses.
No, they sent her to a chiropractor.
Oh, they?
The doctor.
Who's they?
Who's
The
they?
doctor. She went to the doctor for carpal
Well,
tunnel.
they dropped the level of care because you cannot. The chiropractors don't have an answer to this.
It seems to me like they ran out of solution.
It's a ligament. Yeah. Well, they dropped her. You know, they said, "Get out of here. Go to the chiropractor."
Isn't surgery the normal response to carpal tunnel syndrome?
No. When we
Not for
treated,
you,
Not for you.
but in
For
terms of
everybody else.
layman's terms.
Yeah, they could be doing that, right? Yeah. Usually, that's the way I was trained.
Yeah.
If
You would have sent them-
diagnose it,
yeah.
you needed an operation. But then I started experimenting with this. You can treat these things. It's only a ligament across here. Can you see that?
I can see that.
Across here. That's all it is.
His wrist.
Loosen it up, the nerve underneath resolves, and the numbers will change. In other words, when you do a nerve conduction study, it's slow. We've had it as much as 9 to 14 meters per second, and they come down to normal after that, after taking care of the ligament here. But there's no way that the chiropractor can do that because you have to stretch that ligament out, and they can't do that. You need an anti-inflammatory. You need a shot, a couple of shots in there, and that takes care of it. For sure.
I got a question, not dealing with carpal tunnel, but the bottom of the foot, you know, where the arc is. I saw on YouTube that when you have pain in that region, if you were to take your hands or a spoon or a ball and you stretch out that ligament, that the pain disappears.
Yes,
It's true.
it is true because
I've done it.
With
Doc.
a spoon?
I did it with a spoon.
It's a ligament. You don't need a spoon, but it's a ligament.
But I didn't want to use my hands. It was somebody's feet. But anyway, Doc,
You
but
did
it
it
comes
on
back.
somebody
I
else.
did it on somebody else.
You're not supposed to practice. All right, he's practicing.
No,
medicine.
I'm not. I
We
wanted
gotta
to
stop
come and
that.
ask you. You know where I got the idea? Where do you think I got the idea, Max?
From YouTube?
From him.
Oh, from him.
Remember my elbow
Yeah.
that you told me use your
Yeah,
thumb and
that's right.
stretch it
Yeah,
out?
yeah.
So I said, I wonder if it's the same thing. So somebody had a pain in her foot,
yeah.
and I used a spoon and I stretch. It gets back though. It comes back. You know, the pain comes back every so often. It doesn't disappear because I don't have your medicine.
That's true. Yeah,
So whatever is making it
yeah
shrink,
you'll get a pretty good result. Just got to keep at it with the stretch. And
He said the same thing about my eye socket. He said, you could just stretch this out every day.
And do
he
you?
puts his thumb in my eye
I
socket.
know
It's like,
the
all
thumb
right.
of death, right?
Yeah, the thumb of death. And I'm saying, no, I'll take the shot. I'll take the shot.
The thumb of that. You know, it's easier to take the shot
is.
than to be rubbing up on yourself here. He told me the same thing about my elbow. It took 3 weeks, but look at that.
Yeah.
I couldn't do this before. I would go, oh. So he put his big thumb in there and was crying to that. Unreal, Doc. But it works.
it works. Yeah.
There you go. All right, 1-800-889-0267. We want to hear from you. Give us a call. We're not going to give the doctor's number out because then the phone goes crazy in here. All right, Robert J. from New York City writes, I had concussions for the last 2 years playing rugby. That's different. We never had a rugby player. And wanted to ask you if you can help me.
There are no rugby players. That's why.
You had a rugby player.
Yeah, the guy who did my
Site,
website's a rugby
yeah.
player. But I'm saying the numbers are very small in rugby.
But check this out, Doc. They won't let him play unless he gets a clearance from a doctor.
Uh-huh.
Now that is different. Says I tried to explain the neck area diagnosis you spoke about on your show, but they want evidence that it's not the brain. Now they wanted somebody to say that his brain doesn't have concussions. Come on,
Oh, my
now.
God.
This is
That's
ridiculous.
ridiculous.
Yeah. I mean, how do you get a
Stereo.
letter? This guy's done. He's done playing rugby. He's
I
done.
don't know what kind of letter they would want because there's no test for it. If you have a normal CAT scan of your brain, what else is there? You got to do psychological tests? I mean, you know, the brain is a thinking process rather than anatomical. You don't see much in there.
Well, they give you questions. Do you know what day it is? Do you know your last name? That's the concussion test.
Yeah, no, that's there is no concussion. Forget it. No,
So if
no
you take away the pain from the neck of his
Right.
concussion, you find that you take away. To give him a letter, I've resolved his issue. They're still going to say you can't play because nobody can resolve a brain concussion that doesn't exist. Is that right?
It's almost in that kind of thinking.
It's how do you take care of something that doesn't exist? You put a label on it, and you can't do anything with it. You're stuck with it.
No,
This is where you are with this.
Doc, I think we have the solution for Robert J.
Yeah.
Take up golf. because your rugby days are over. Oh man, okay. Scully from Boston writes. We got people from Boston now. Don't go crazy because that's a new audience. It's getting bigger. I run a fishing boat here in Boston and have arthritis in my hands. Doctors have told me there's nothing more that they can do than give you the painkillers. Everything has been done. And if you want to have surgery, that's another option. But using painkillers and being on a boat can be dangerous, he writes, which I think he's right.
That's true. The problem he's having, as far as I can understand it, is probably from the wrist. And that's completely treatable. There are 8 bones in each wrist, and they're all connected with ligaments. And so the ligament that you pushed out on the foot, it's the same ligament in the wrist. And if you could stretch those out, the pain does go away. And if it's really bad, we just put a steroid in there and it comes right out.
But
they don't do this kind of work. Musculoskeletal work
but
is
this
not
is what
being
he's
done.
saying. They're not doing that.
Can I just say something?
Sure.
Dr. P treated a woman from Okeechobee, I think. Remember the one whose fingers were stuck?
Arthritic?
Yeah. And you would think that she wouldn't stand a chance, to have free movement, and after he injected her, she came back like a week after and she still had free movement, of these fingers that were
Did
stuck.
they stretch out?
Yeah.
The
Because
fingers
she keeps
stretch out?
stretching them out too, because he told her, keep stretching them out.
Right.
And so I saw that, something that looked like it was for lifelong thing for her, get changed.
All right, so hold on a second. I need a visual here. When you saw this lady's hands like this, Doc, what was the first thing that came to your mind?
She has scar tissue in the PIP joint, that's all.
And you just removed it, that's all.
Boom, boom, done.
And how long did she have this?
Well, she was being treated for rheumatoid arthritis, which is, again, the rheumatologists do not have these techniques. They're not trained that way. So when you have things like this, we would help the rheumatologist by taking care of these problems and, let them take care of the blood work. But that's it's quite rampant. People walk in my office, they say they have RA. I go, where is it? I can't even find it. It's just. But on this particular person, she had the 3 fingers were scarred down, and we unscarred them real fast.
There are certain baseball players that I've known that were catchers.
There you go.
And their hands look like claws. I mean, they can't even open
Oh,
them.
really?
Yep.
Yeah. And one of them happens to be a good friend of my father's side of the family. And when I see how their hands look, they go to the best doctors that Major League Baseball allegedly has.
Allegedly, yes.
And the reason that I'm even bringing this up because, once again, if anybody out there that's listening that has anything to do with MLB, I'm telling you, even the ex-players, you guys are treating the wrong thing. I mean, Doc, the guy could not hold a pen to sign an autograph. They had to build something that attaches to his finger.
That's all treatable. It's probably more wrist than fingers, but it all works together, and we can take care of that. Don't hesitate to come in. I mean, you're not going to lose anything except the problem you have.
Scary stuff.
Yeah.
Scary. You're going to be covering this in Channel 19's Movie of the Week, right? Remember
Yes.
the Movie of the Week?
Movie of the week.
You remember that?
But yes, I do.
There you go. He's going to be the Movie of the Week. Wait till you hear.
Patient of the week.
If this show reality stuff works and it's all the call, then I got the final project, which is the Pannozzo movie. That will be the final project. We'll take it from the youngster all the way to now.
Well, I have some of the interviews.
You're gonna play Dr. Pannozzo.
Because of the nose.
You got to stick to coffee, Freddy.
No. Listen, Doc.
The young Dr. Pannozzo.
3 years ago, when I first met you, you were in Del Rey, right? Like you are now. Now you're all over this country and getting bigger.
Really?
So I'm gonna stick to my brew, and he's gonna play you as a young Dr. Pannozzo. He looks like you. He does.
See, I told you.
See, it's true.
Because
Yeah.
people think that I'm his son.
So do
they
I.
see it on the
I see it
door.
now.
He has my blue eyes. That's why.
And
I see. I see.
It's because of the nose.
No, I see it now. I see the
Yeah,
resemblance.
the nose is pretty big.
I see the resemblance, and the movie is in the making. It's right up here.
You got another question?
I got a few
Hurry up and
questions.
change the subject now.
Doc doesn't want anybody playing him. Abigail from Boston writes, I was told I have a ruptured tendon in my shoulder and need surgery to repair it. Now, this is a common one. Rupture tendon.
Yep, very common.
In the shoulder. I don't understand how they can fix a ruptured tendon and wanted to ask you if you thought this was a true diagnosis. My doctors all say the same thing. The tendon was ruptured when I was lifting weights in the gym, and it will not heal by leaving it alone. I can't lift my arms over my shoulder and wanted to learn two things. How long does it take to fix the problem, and how soon can I go back to lifting weights?
Well, she probably has supraspinatus tendonitis rather than a rupture of anything. You can't rupture a tendon.
What?
Supraspinatus tendonitis.
I hear that every day.
That's the muscle that lifts your elbow like this. So if she's having that problem, that's easily treated. You don't need a surgery for that.
So you don't even think it's a ruptured tendon?
No. You can't rupture
how do you
a tendon.
rupture a
How would a
tendon?
little lady like this rupture a tendon? Now, you got to be kidding.
She,
you know,
she
they're too
lifted
strong.
400 pounds and it popped.
Maybe 1,000. Maybe she's lifting 1,000. Who knows?
But can you rupture a tendon?
No, you cannot.
Does tendons have hairs?
Hairs?
Yes, like when they look at an x-ray, they see hairs off the tendon. You ever heard that?
No.
Hey, listen, they shaved his tendon. What do you think they were shaving?
Well, I have no idea what they
With
were
a shake
doing.
razor.
I have no idea what they were shaving.
But they shaved the tendon, right?
Yeah, they have
That's
to
the
shave it down
hairs,
with
Doc.
that.
I was told there were hairs.
You see, this is what I have against these surgeons. They tell people things that are just absolutely gross and not true. You can't shave a tendon. What the hell are they talking about?
They shaved his tendon.
Yeah, well, that's what they told him.
That's what they
But
said.
what they did.
Did
we
they ever
have
show
no
you the shaved
Remember,
tendon?
mine's on film. I have what I say on film.
They
I
gave
do
you
have a film inside my body.
of them shaving your shoulder.
Yeah, with that, I look like an alien. You know, like the really white, you know, UFO alien type of thing. Like that's.
Well, first of
tendon
all,
looks like
let me
inside.
correct you. First of all, if it was really you can't tell anything on those. They're close-ups. You don't know what the hell they're. I don't know, and I know the anatomy.
Well, you don't think it was
The
even him?
surgeon's
No.
narrating it as he's doing it.
Plus, you don't know if it's your film.
How do you know it was you? You have a mole?
don't
or
I
know
something?
can't. I mean, I can't prove that it's me. No.
You don't have a tattoo that says this is me on there or something?
Now, here's the difference. In my office, you're there filming somebody. You see their face, you get their name, they talk to you, and you see whatever we're seeing. But that
That's
is
right.
not true when this other stuff. They show you a close-up inside. You don't know what you're looking at. I wouldn't know what I was
I
looking
don't know.
at.
No, I don't. I have no idea.
It's true because your shows that I seen from Max that sent me has you raw footage. It's like raw footage.
Yeah.
It
You
is
can't
raw
get more
footage.
raw than that.
Yeah.
There is
There's no
that is
actors,
raw
there's
footage.
none of that stuff. It's
There are
what
no,
you see is what you get.
No scripts, and there are no pre-filming talks or anything. Like
Nothing's
that. Nothing.
nothing's set up.
It's as it happens,
That's right.
and the result we see are true. This is what we do every day. That's why we wanted to put it on film, because people don't believe how fast this occurs. It occurs that quick. You're looking at it full time, right on.
I tell you, I'm excited. This Monday and Wednesday and Friday on Channel 19. Doc, we got to do something to be able to get that across all the other stations. Because if what happens that I think is going to happen, we're going to have to do something about that. Maybe we get Max video and we put it on your show. I said, can you identify this shoulder?
We could.
Who does it belong to?
No, you can't. You cannot identify anything. I'm serious about
That's
this.
funny.
You can't do it. Go ahead. Next question.
Junie from Boston writes, I've had flat feet for a real long time. So he's been told. He doesn't know this. Does this condition happen at birth? That's the first question.
No.
It doesn't?
No.
Did you know that? Okay.
You're born normal at birth.
You
Everything
have
happens afterwards.
My ankles on the outside, the ankle on the outside, are hurting so bad I can't walk. But the pain is on the outside of the ankle. I guess he's trying to identify the area for you.
Yeah.
I've been to the doctor and they want to put a boot on each leg. Well, how about that? A boot on each leg. What's it going to be? This guy's going to have to wobble around.
Now, first of all, you want me to answer this?
Yeah, let's keep going. Yes.
First of all, you have to think outside the box on that. If you have two ankles that are hurt on the outside,
Yes.
you have to figure out why that is. And you have to look all the way up into the back,
Lower back.
because from the lower back down is one unit. You have to look at the whole thing. It's made up of the lower back, hip, knee, and ankle. Somewhere in there, you're going to find a difference in weight bearing. It's an engineering problem or a physics problem. That's what you have to think. Don't just put a boot on there because your vision is this big. Your vision should be this big in order to treat this kind of
Now,
thing.
he also says that his feet are numb. Is that part of this whole...
Yeah, that's all part of the thing. You have to understand where the numbness comes from, which is the lower back.
So, Junie, I got some bad news.
Podiatrists are out of their element on this.
Well, Junie, I got some bad news for you.
Yeah.
Because I knew that this is the way you were going to go with this thing. I knew it wasn't in the ankles. It's got to be bigger than that because it's on both sides.
Yeah.
If it's on one side, I can see it, but both sides, nah. It's got to be something in the lower back.
Right.
Junie, they're looking in the wrong place, my friend. So I'm going to give you Pannozzo's numbers, 561-381-5800. Please do not call him now because he's on the air, but you can call him 561-381-5800. And I guarantee you, if you come down to see him, he's going to find a problem in your lower back, not your ankles. Stay away from the boots because you're going to trip and break your head. Like everybody else that wears those stupid things. I don't understand why they even put them on.
I don't have any idea.
I've seen people clunk it around and break dishes, but that's all it's
Well,
good
first
for.
of all, you put a boot on means you have an immobility.
Yes,
The immobility causes scar tissue.
yes.
So the reason you have that should not be done. It shouldn't be done because
Boots are ridiculous.
No, that's ridiculous.
Boots. Okay, Larry from Boynton Beach. Right here in Boynton Beach. Don.
Boynton Beach.
He just came from Washington. Okay, he's in Boynton Beach, but he's from Washington. He came in as a snowbird to play golf. And his brother tells him that he heard your show on the radio. He says he pulled a groin plane last week. Went to the doctor, and they said stay off it and it will heal. Stay off it. In other words, don't walk.
The doctor doesn't know what he's talking about.
It's been a week and I can hardly walk.
You get the real truth here. I'm the physician. I'm going to tell you, this physician doesn't know what he's talking about. Stay off of it and it'll heal. It doesn't heal. It's a weight-bearing issue, and you have to know where it is and how to diagnose it. And Leslie talks about this all the time. There's 5 areas in the groin that are painful.
Right. And that's what you cured on us.
That's right.
And he went back to playing golf 2 days later.
Next day.
Next day. This guy came down here to play. He's not playing.
Well, he should come in the office.
He should
if
come
he's
into the
around.
office, 564-381-5800 is his number, and get back to playing.
Best money you ever spent.
Right?
Absolutely.
You ever pull a groin?
Fantastic.
I don't think so.
I pulled a groin in college playing
I know
football.
it must be painful.
It ended my season for like 6 weeks. I couldn't do anything
Were
to
you
make
catching then?
Yeah.
Yeah, so, boy.
it ended. It was done. And then you know what happened? My lower back was the issue.
Oh, really?
Yeah. I should have known Dr. Pannozzo. I would have been playing again.
That's true.
I had pain in my lower back all my life. And you see, this is why I don't like giving
know.
out
As
the
soon as
number.
you give it out, they call.
No, Doc, don't take it. Hit the. We'll call you back.
Hit the no
We
call.
will call you back. 561-381-5800 is his number. We'll call you back. He's on the air, and we forbid him from taking phone calls on the air
Yes.
because contractually we can get in a lot of trouble. But he promises to call you back. All right. But it's important because, Doc, it is what it is, what we do, right? Amy from Miami writes, how many visits does ringing in the ears takes to cure? Now, you told me you had a very good week with ringing of the ears.
We have had no failures yet.
That's some statement.
No,
No failure.
And Manx is recorded, everyone.
I'm recording it. I mean, one guy, within 3 seconds, he says, is this too soon for me to say I don't have ringing in my ear? I said, why would it be too soon? I mean, you're saying what's happening to you, you know?
But Max, let me ask you a question, because you're there filming this stuff, and I know you got to sit in the room and be quiet and just sort of absorb everything that's going on. He's been doing it for 50 years, so to him it's just curing one problem after another. But you're looking at this and being exposed to it for the first time. Ringing of the ears, I saw one shot that you did with this lady. She couldn't even explain the
Yeah.
noise. It was so funny. I was dying.
Oh,
I played
the
it
June
over and
bug
over.
one?
Yes.
Yeah.
I started playing it over and over again because her explanation. Doctor, you know what this sounds like? I'm like, what is that? You walk around like that with that noise for years, and you
I
don't
know.
come. And she says, and I went to the doctor, and you told her, this is what it is. And she says, no, doc. Yes, this is what it is. And then you took care of it.
You could see why that car guy said he wanted to blow his brains out. if you heard that for 3 years or 5 years steady, you'd want to do the same thing too.
I know. I mean, and again,
He had special. That guy had special. What do you call those? Amplifiers to your ears. I can't think of them.
really.
Yeah, they put a
that
different
plain
sound
music or
in, so
whatever.
you could sometimes a white sound, and sometimes they put music in there to take your mind off of the real
At the real pain.
pain. Yeah.
He had it figured out to a science. Remember, he had his own little method that he did where he said, before I go to bed, I actually think of the sound instead of not think of it.
Now, what it is bone conductivity into the
Okay, hold
ear.
slow down.
The
Bone what?
bone conductivity, bone transmission of sound.
This is new.
No, so
No, this is new information
new
for
word.
you.
new to you. All right. So you can have an auditory nerve conducting sound,
Okay.
and that's your normal sound. Or you can have a ligament bone-to-bone connector pulling on the bone, which transmits sound too. Now, people who that don't think about this they'll say, "Oh, that's impossible," but there's nothing else there. That's got to be it.
That's what you're treating.
And we know what we're treating. So what I'm telling you is absolute truth. And if you don't know how to do it, tell me, and I'll show you how. I mean, I can't treat 8 billion people in the world. You know,
Well,
if you can help out. We'll
Well,
give
you
the
ran
secret.
into treating ringing in the ears because you were dealing with migraines.
It's migraine and
Vertigo.
and ringing, all from the same place.
The same area.
Same place.
So you
and
treat-
they all have an accident in the past.
And you treated it and you got rid of the pain on different people?
Everybody. Sometime they'll get more relief or less relief, or it's one side and the other side. But you have to work on it. Like the medication you get is so very small, and it has to go in the proper place. So what if your joint that's injured in there is large, and we only inject half of it? Okay. Well, now you got you still have some symptoms.
And everybody's joint
Different. They're
is
all
different.
different. Yeah.
But it's the same region.
Same region. The sizes are different depending on who you are. Ladies are less, big men are more.
Amount of medication changes?
Medication we don't change because of where it is.
What about the
located.
amount?
The amounts don't change. No.
So you're consistent always on what you apply.
Right.
You know, I never asked them that. I never realized that. Consistency.
Sorry. I wanted to tell you an observation that I have of Dr. P is that when somebody comes in, no matter what they come in for, and no matter if he treated them on a Monday or whatever, and they come back on a Wednesday, he always treats them when they come back as though they're a new patient again, which I think is really unique because
You mean the same patient?
the same patient.
In different pain or same pain?
It could be different, it could be same, whatever, but he's always treating them as though it's the first time he's seeing them, so he re-examines them, redoes everything, and that's so complete as a doctor that you don't see anyplace else. I mean,
That is true. I had a run-in with Medicare. They said, "Oh, you're charging for a big exam on every visit," and I had to explain. I wrote him a 2-page letter explaining what we have to do, which is basically you treat everybody like a new patient. You have to take a history. You have to examine them. You have to go back to what you've done before. You got to go back to an X-ray, and it takes some time to do that.
That's right.
Before you can get a result. You think you got to get a result because it's ordained by heaven? No, it's hard work. You got to know.
Well, the other thing is not that if you go back in, in terms of what they do, which is pay for coverage. I mean, they're the money people, right?
right.
I mean, that's what they're supposed to do, correct? They're supposed to say, "Doc, we're going to pay you X amount of money for taking care of this patient, and whatever it takes. No matter, I don't care how you cut this, Doc. You're cheaper than anything else they got to pay out on."
Absolutely.
I would say less expensive.
Less expensive. Yeah, it
Less
sounds better than
expensive?
cheaper.
You don't like cheaper?
No, we don't like.
I'm gonna tell you, Doc, you gotta raise your rates. I'm being honest. I've never seen anything like this.
Well, we're just about going to drop all insurance because of this problem that you get. Why are you doing that? Those people are ignorant.
Yeah,
I talked to one. I did it last week. It's worthwhile talking again. A guy comes in my office, can't even stand up straight. He owns his own business. he pays a premium to this company. Okay? Some doctor in there says, "Oh, we're not paying for any of this because he didn't have pain for 3 months."
I see.
I said, "What the hell are you talking about? You don't want people to be painful for 3 months if you can know what to do for it today." The guy runs his own business.
That's right.
And he walked out straight. Well, they still didn't pay his bill.
Really?
And who are these people determining this? They're nobodies.
And they're
They don't
supposed to be
treat
paying
anybody.
bills.
This doctor who said you got to have pain for 3 months, he ought to have pain for 3 months. People don't need pain for 3 months.
That's right.
They got to get it off today so they can go back to work and have a normal life. You don't want people suffering for 3 months.
That's right. Doesn't make
Based
any
on
sense.
what?
Doesn't make any
Based
sense.
on what? Nothing.
Those doctors making decisions, by the way, they don't have any experience in musculoskeletal.
None whatsoever. Even the patients have no experience.
We had a St. Ted. I just opened a letter this morning from Cigna. This is Dr. Shellhammer, who's an orthopedic surgeon, refuses to pay for anything.
All right, Doc.
And who the hell is this guy?
Doc, take it easy.
Okay.
Take it easy.
All right,
We got to go.
okay.
But I want to thank Dr. Pannozzo for putting the show together again. Another great show, Max, for coming down.
Thanks
Appreciate
for
you
having
having. Borat. Okay, we're going to go. We're leaving. Listen, 561-381-5800. Open up the phone lines. Call in. We'll see you next week. God bless.
All
We'll
right,
see you.
thank you.
This has been the Dr. Pannozzo Sports and Medicine Hour with Dr. Anthony Pannozzo. If you spend 5 minutes with Dr. Pannozzo, you'll see he genuinely enjoys helping others. Visit Dr. Pannozzo online at www.paincentersnationwide.com or call him at 561-381-5800. Dr. Pannozzo will consult with you to determine the best solution to your pain needs. 561-381-5800 is the number to call, even if it's just for a second opinion. Join Dr. Pannozzo next week when he brings you more important information on the physics of weight-bearing and engineer concepts for the body.
Stream this report live on our iHeartRadio app.
Happy Sunday. I'm meteorologist Felicia Cole.